Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Please,
Good
you can drop
evening.
the information on the group that we are live now.
All right.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sure we can all hear me. Thank you for joining in. Um, we started quite late. This 12 minutes past the time we're supposed to start, and we apologize for that. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much. Um, we'll be starting now, and you might be wondering what the webinar is about. It's about our tech, my tech journey. Is a webinar launched by Future Purpose. You might also be wondering what Future Purpose is about. You will know about everything in this meeting. So, my tech journey is about is a webinar series where we invite tech professionals to share their stories, their challenges, the lessons, their transition, and the lessons learned on their path to success. So it's basically just the journey of how tech bros, techies, and the lessons and challenges they learned on while still on the journey, the ones they've overcome, the ones they are overcoming, the ones that are to come. So just like getting answers to everything to make it easy for us. So I'll be calling in my Oga. I'll be calling in my Oga, Mr. Ayomide Gideon, to talk on what future purpose is about, because I said at the beginning that my tech journey is a webinar series launched by Future Purpose. So I'll be calling in my Oga, Mr. Ayomide Gideon, to talk about future purpose. Mr.
Wow.
Ayomide.
Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you so much.
All right.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this edition of and I'm delighted to welcome us all. My name is Ayomide Gideon, and I lead the team of amazing guys at Future Purpose. If you are wondering what Future Purpose is all about, Future Purpose is a non-profit organization that is dedicated to increasing the income potential of African youth. So what we do basically is we are so passionate about the tech ecosystem and helping young talents in Africa, learn their skill as early as possible. So how do we do what we do? We go to secondary schools, we organize webinar like this, free tech trainings to make sure that young talents like us are equipped with skills that will help them to live out their dreams and become world changers. We all know the increase in crime rates in the country, how Yahoo boys, how they are taking the lead, and the increase is on increase, and the crime rate is on the increase, and everybody's trying to make ends meet. Everybody's trying to wear the best clothes. Everybody's trying to use the best phones. Everybody wants to be iPhone 17. Everybody wants to drive the best car, and whatever way can be the way for some people. Some people they don't know better way than to than the cyber crime way. So uh we are trying to bridge that gap by providing skills acquisition training, you know, doing awareness programs in secondary schools, because we know that these are the ways we can penetrate into that system. The Trying to check my time. The the middle age of Nigeria is between the age of 15 to 20, which means in the next 20 30 years, the highest population of Nigeria by that time will be people between that 15 to 18. So that's why we target secondary schools, and we make sure that when we go there, we sensitize them with the importance of learning the skill early in life and the endless opportunities that lies in the world. And these are the ways we can try in our own little way to curb that cyber crime and make sure that everybody have a skill through our boot camp. We are starting a boot camp next week. We will be teaching young talents in Africa product design, test skills for free. We started 2023, we did backend development. 2024 we did web front end development. 2023 2024 we did backend development, and this year we are having two test skills. We are starting next week with UI UX, and by God's grace next month we will continue with AI automation. So future purpose is a house in itself that has many rooms. One of our room is this webinar, my tech journey. We have another room where we go to secondary schools. We have another room where we organize tech events once in a year, which we call purpose and popcorn. More information about this will be coming soon. So I don't want to bore us with more information, because this evening is going to be an exciting time, and we're all going to enjoy uh, this webinar. We have our guest speaker with us, Mr. Unifade Ayomide. He's a he's a tech he's a tech guru in his own space, and he's doing amazingly well. You know, by the time we start the interview, I'm very sure that you pick one of the things, but please and please make sure that you're in a place where you can assimilate all the information that will be disseminated. Make sure that you are jotting or you are taking notes, so that all that you will be saying, all the things that you'll be learning, as it's passing through your right ear, it's not be going outside, through the second, to the left ear. So I welcome us all once again, and thank you so much for joining us in this edition.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I'll be reading our guest profile right now. It's not a coincidence that our guest is also Ayomide, so you should be glad you're here. So, Mr. Ayomide Onifade is a software developer and educator with experience working both locally and internationally. He has taught and guided learners globally through his roles as a software engineer at TripleTen and a teaching assistant at Kibo School. As a former Google developer student club lead, Ayomide organized hand-on workshops, built collaborative projects, and connected students to industry mentors. He is passionate about helping young people grow their skills and build meaningful careers in technology. So I want us to use our income messages, the emojis, to say welcome to our guest. I want to start saying the emojis. Welcome, Mr. Ayomide. Welcome, sir. We are glad you are here. We are so happy you are here. You can have the floor now, sir.
Hi guys, good evening. Thank you for bringing me here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see the purpose of this program because honestly, like you said earlier, it's something needed, and I'm happy you're so passionate about the vision of this. I hope you have a wonderful time this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ayomide. I have a couple of questions here that we're going to start with. As I said earlier on, please, it's going to be an amazing time. Please get ready and get set. So the first question I have here is, Mr. Ayomide. Mr. Ayomide, can you briefly share your journey from, studying chemistry education to becoming software developer? Because we live in a world now that many of us, what we study in school is not what we are. It's not what we fetch us money. Many of us study, for myself as an example, I study about chemistry, but now they are penetrating the marketing industry, and they're chopping the money small small. So many, not all of us will make money from what we study in school. So can you please share briefly with us your journey from studying chemistry education to becoming a software developer?
Yeah, all right, thank you. That's a big question because it was not it was not, it was not an easy journey transitioning, but I'll say I started, I resumed school 2020, yeah. That was when I started. But before then, I already started pursuing my career in tech. I started with a boot camp in 2019 after my secondary school before I went to university. So before I went to university, I already had the intention, I already had the vision to be into tech. So while studying chemistry education in school, I also continued my tech journey, my tech career alongside.
Okay, thank you so much, Samidi. Okay, the second question I have here is that um, what inspired you to make the switch from education to tech? Is it because of the money that they're making in tech, or because you are just passionate about building great stuff and transforming lives through your um, educating or the passion for education? Is that why you transition from chemistry education to being a software developer?
Okay, thank you. So I'll say for me, it didn't start with, okay, let me put it this way. When I first got interested in tech, it was just mainly because I just love the idea of being able to say, oh yeah, I can build a mobile app because I was using a phone and then there were a lot of apps on my phone and I just wanted to know how these things were done, how to build an app for myself, how to build a website. So it started that way even before I got to school. I didn't even know because I was going to study before I resumed school because I started learning. I started learning, like I said earlier, in 2019 and I resumed school 2020. So I just had this interest. And what inspired me was just the desire to build something meaningful, was just the desire to do something meaningful with tech. So I didn't even know how the industry was or anything about it. It was just the desire to build. It was just the desire to build. Yeah, and one thing that helped me for the education part, I think with school, with the course I studied, chemistry education, and also together with I just love explaining things to people, teaching people things, write for people, just inspire people actually. So I think everything just connected together. So even though I started tech with the intention to just build web apps, to build websites and all of that, because of my other passion for teaching and education, then there was a connection. And while I work on products, I also get to inspire people and teach people how to code.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayomide. So from your switching from education to tech, sometimes it is not easy. For many of us, for me personally, when I transitioned from being a chemistry student to marketing, there was no one to teach, there was no one there was no one to pull me through. It was just self-learning. So what were the biggest challenges you faced when transitioning to tech? What were the challenges you faced when you were transitioning, your place of transitioning from chemistry education to tech?
Oh wow. Actually, for me, it was a bit of a challenge because
Okay.
when
I
I
think you are muted.
transitioned, can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, I can hear
When
you
I
now.
all right, when I started, like it was weird for people around me because what almost everybody was saying was that why are you going into tech? Why are you learning this? Why are you learning that? When it doesn't relate to because you are going to study in school. So it was a bit of a struggle for me. I had to overcome that first. I had to explain to people why I wanted to do tech. I had to let people know the reason behind it and the fact that going to school won't affect me. So I can remember then there were a lot of times whereby I attended, I think during was it COVID or strike? I really can't remember. But I think it was around 2021 or something around that. People around, like, it got to a point whereby people around me were like, oh, like, family too, you have to explain to everybody what tech is because, our generation is not the same as the older generation. So if you had to overcome the challenge, I can remember there were a lot of times whereby I will, I can remember there was a working space I do go to, but people do not, they didn't think that was where I was going to. I had to tell them, oh, I was going somewhere else, but I will leave home, then go to the workspace just because, oh, I really wanted to learn this. So that was one of the challenges I faced. And another was that because it was like a one-man journey, like I was mostly the only one that knew what I wanted. So a lot of learning had to be by myself. I can remember I bought some courses on Udemy, and I can remember I watched YouTube videos, also reaching out to people. There was a time where I met people doing the same thing with me. Then I had to start collecting some downloaded materials from them. So that also happened, and also I think there is a general there's a general issue. Everybody, most people actually in tech face at first, and that's coding with a bad laptop at first. And I think most people have this laptop problem at first. So I had that also. I can remember there was a time the laptop, my friends do call it transformer because it works with light. They call it a transformer because it works with light and the noise it makes. So there was a time it got bad and I didn't have anything to use. But I was in school then, so I started using a friend's laptop. I'll I'll use it maybe in the afternoon or evening, work on it for a few hours. Anything I work on, save it as put it in a folder, send it to my phone, like that, like that, like that. So that also happened for a while. So I think those were like the major challenges. Those were the major challenges I faced when transitioning. The challenge of letting people around me understand what I wanted to do, and also the for me also to be determined enough to say, okay, no matter what people say, no matter what condition, what space I'm in, I'm still going to find my way around this and do what I'm truly passionate about. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ayo. I think I'm finding it very interesting. Everybody has the same kind of story. So the next question I'm going to ask you, please, if you have any question for Ayomide, please be just note them, note the questions, um, note them down. Please confirm if you can hear me. It's looking like my network is tripping off. Please, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. So the next question I'm going to ask Ayomide is, how did your tech background in chemistry education contribute to your tech career today? Like the background you had in chemistry education, studying like using like 4 to 5 years in the university, was there any way it contributed to your tech career today?
Oh, now I'm trying to think, is it positively or negatively? Because the contribution can be either ways. But okay, I will say it was it was very, very challenging because I was in school studying a different course from tech, and like I mentioned earlier, some other conditions like the laptop. Another thing was where I was staying in school, light was very, very bad. I know. So I can remember when I was in school, one thing I did very well was that I'm always in the school library because of light, just to use light to work on something. So I'm always in the school library because of light. Then for the how the school contributed, I can say for me it didn't contribute so much because I can remember when I got to school, I was very, very eager about tech. Then I was asking about tech communities and all of that. I can remember I went as far as reaching out to a lot of people, like as far as the OU parrots, those TVs and all, oh, if there's a tech community and all. But when I got to school then there was none. Even if there was, maybe it was just a group of friends and everything. It was very, very challenging for me because I I'm done with the barrier at home, explaining what tech means to people and all of that. Now I'm in school, hoping to find more people like me, and I wasn't seeing enough of that, at least for the early years in my university days. So it didn't contribute so much. Also, the school, the school didn't really have a lot of facilities to encourage things like this. The school internet was bad. Even the school library, there were just some desktops there, and we couldn't use them to do anything much. You once you go there, you will still use your own internet for the desk stuff there. You can only use it to read books and all. So it was challenging. But one thing I just made sure I did then was I I just kept on going to the library to use the light. At least I'll buy my data, I'll use my laptop and all of that. So the school didn't really contribute. In fact, there was a time it was affecting me because there was a time I had to stop going to classes. I had to, nobody should try this, right? But there was a time I actually stopped going to classes. Like most times, I just don't go to classes. Only when maybe there's test or exam. A lot of my classmates, even till we graduated, didn't know. They don't know me. Some just see me in the exam and they're like, ah, who is this guy that's writing exam with us? I know they would have probably thought I was a carryover student, maybe in the higher level that came to write the exam with them, but nah. So so that was what I did. I just mostly went for exams, tests, and all of that. Yeah. Then because I know I don't go to classes and I just focus on tech, going to library. I was in school, but I was not going to class, just in library working on tech. Then one thing I just made sure I did was during when it was time for school exam, maybe 2 days to a paper and all of that, I'll make sure I stay awake overnight to read, to catch up what has been taught for months, to try to cover it up in 2 days. It is actually challenging, and I think a lot of people, I met a lot of people, so a lot of friends that actually faced that also because some of them even wanted to study computer science from the start, but they were given other courses, and because of that, they had to prioritize one, either working in tech or because they were given, they had to prioritize one over the other. So it was challenging, but I think the art of multitasking and juggling actually helped me a lot.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mr. Abide, for sharing your story with us. So the next question I will jump to is, you've spoken to us about how you used to, the next question I have here was is, the next question I have is, what were the steps, what were the first steps and resources you used to learn software development? And the one that followed after is, did you go through formal training, self-learning, or boot camps, and which part do you recommend for beginners? So I would like to summarize two questions together. I know that you've spoken to us about how you used to go to the library, work over the night, focus on building, learning tech, and the like. So Mr. Toby, I'm coming, please. I'm going to reach out to you. So you were just focused on building and learning and learning and learning. But the second question I would love to ask you is that, did you go through any formal training, any boot camps, and which part would you recommend for beginners? Because not everyone would take the part of not going to classes and the likes. Some of us are in school, some are even done with school, but they're just trying to transition. Some are working class, trying to transition to tech. So, what what part do you recommend for beginners like them?
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. So the first question is what were the steps and resources I used to learn software development?
Yeah.
So I can remember when I started in 2019, I started with a boot camp, 720 degree innovation of at Ake. Yeah, that was where I went to at first. So I spent about 3 months there. But then should I call it subscription expired and I was not able to pay for the next one. So after that, because from there I learned at least the basics. I learned HTML, CSS. Those were the major things I learned during then, and a bit of JavaScript. So when I noticed, oh, I couldn't continue with the payment, then what I did then was I started learning on my own. There were a lot of YouTube videos I downloaded. When my subscription ended, I was still going there, they can't tell me to leave immediately. My payment ended. So for the meantime, I was still going. I made sure I downloaded a lot of YouTube videos because I knew, oh, I was not coming back. So I downloaded a lot of YouTube videos that, oh, at least when I get home, I will watch all these videos, learn all these things. Then also I tried using W3 Schools. It's a website. It's just like it's like a documentation for different programming languages, at least to learn the basics and all. Then after I started learning on my own, a point came I was able to buy a Udemy course. Like I remember I bought one course then. I bought I bought a course then, I finished it. So like that, so it just transitioned into learning most of these things by myself because that phase taught me how to take courses and learn it by yourself, how to learn by yourself. Because even as a software developer, no matter the number of boot camps you go and all of that, you still have to learn most of these things by yourself. So I can say that was how my own journey went. Then for what I will recommend. So a lot of people have asked me the same question, and what I tell them is if you can, because I believe most people, or should I say, there's a percentage of people who don't find it easy to read all of these things by themselves online or just watch YouTube videos, or even you can just watch YouTube videos and just get lost in the cycle because there are a lot of things to learn, there are a lot of resources out there. So there's no a specific roadmap to guide a lot of people. So what I do recommend for people with this same question is if you have the opportunity, you can register for a boot camp. Of course, if you know, oh, you are not really the reading type and you can't really get things by reading, just apply for a boot camp. And the boot camp doesn't have to be a good boot camp. Just a boot camp to teach you the basics, just for you. Because when you just know the basics, you already have an idea of what next or what is possible. Then after the boot camp, you buy courses, start reading on your own, start reading, start watching videos, and all of that. So I can say that's the part I would recommend. But if you can't afford the boot camp, it's fine also. Udemy is also a very, very great resource. It has been a great resource for me. You can just get a course. For example, if if you are not going through the boot camp route, for example, you want to learn tech, you first need to know, okay, which parts am I going into? You make the research on your own, let's say front end, back end. Then you go to Udemy or YouTube, you see a lot of playlists. Look for a course, just follow it through to the end. So when you get that, it's just like you are getting the basics. It's just going to be the same thing with going for a boot camp. The only difference is just that going for a boot camp, there's a form of discipline whereby people can you have deadlines to meet, assignment and all of that, and a physical lesson. Then online, when you are learning by yourself, is going to be more of you being very, very intentional about your growth and having a structure for your learning. So that's just the biggest difference. Aside that, the contents are the same, and you will even learn more online than going to boot camps. So it depends on what works best for you. You can you can just firstly know the path you want to take, where you want to go. Then, if you can afford the boot camp, you can go there just to learn the basics. Just have it in mind that okay, this place I'm going is just to learn the basics, and I still have to learn a lot on my own. And if you can't afford that, like I said, you can also look for a playlist on YouTube or Udemy and look for a crash course. Once you could just get the basics, just be ready to learn a lot of things by yourself and just keep watching a lot of videos. A lot of people bring different things from different angle, and also reading documentation. A documentation is like the it's just like a documentation is like a dictionary for a programming language. Let's say HTML for example. You can go online HTML documentation. So if you see a website, it has all the notes on everything about HTML. So because you already know the basics, once you read it, you start understanding and you will know better way to apply them. Yeah, so that was what I would recommend.
Thank you so much. I really like this is getting more interesting. So because of our time, I would like to speed up so that we'll not we'll be able to finish before the we are logged out. We are logged out. So the next question I would love to ask is I'm going to combine them. The first question is someone already asked the question in the chat box that how did you get a job in tech? How did you land your first role something something like that. Then said, okay, how did you get your first job? So I'm going to combine the two questions together. The first is, how did you land your first job? And what is the highest amount you've received working as a software developer and an educator? Two questions together.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Yeah, I was saying the second question is so funny. So yeah, the first question, how I got my first job. So I would say before I got my first real job, I was already working. I first initially worked as a teaching assistant and did served as the Google developer student lead in the school I was the other school I was attending. I didn't even mention that earlier. So aside OU, studying chemistry in OU, I was also studying computer science in Kibo School. So it was I was juggling three things together. You can imagine how difficult that must have been. So I was doing that then. I was working as a teaching assistant. So what that was that the other students, the lower students, I assisted the lecturer in teaching some of the classes, hosting office hours, organizing live sessions for the students, and also as the Google development student lead, I created the club in the school because the main reason why I created it was because I didn't get it immediately in my own school. So I didn't want people to experience the same pain I went through. Then I came up with the idea and started it. So I did all those little things initially. Then my first real job was through LinkedIn. I can remember that day I was going through a lot of job roles on LinkedIn. So I was just applying to as many as I could apply to. That was how I got in. There were a lot of rejections. In fact, everything was rejection except one, the one I got into. Then for ah, the highest amount of money. I don't know how to answer it, but maybe I'll just put this in a parable. I'll just say, oh, it was six figures. Yeah.
Six figures, you mean six figures in a month or in the entire year or like a project or like a month?
No, per month.
Wow, wow, that's amazing and that's really, really inspiring. So for many of us that we are, we want to ask questions. Oh yeah, ask a question, sir. Question has been raising his hand since. Oh yeah, you can omit your question, please. Is that six figures? Someone said six figures is 100. It's also 100K.
Really? If six figures is 100K, then that means it's seven.
All right, sir.
There's seven figures there.
Good day, sir, Mr. Ayomide. My question is, when you started your tech journey, that do you ever feel that you are wasting your time? I mean, when you start, do you ever feel that maybe I say I don't dey waste my time? And then when you feel that way, or if you ever feel that way, or what are the things that you did when you started your journey? Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for the question. So I'm trying to remember if I ever felt that way. I can, I'm not sure I really felt that way directly. I think what I felt mostly was that, oh, because like I said earlier, people around me at home, nobody understood what I was doing. So I can say what I felt mostly was, oh, should I really continue this or I should just listen to what everybody is saying? So I would say that was the major thing I asked myself. But one thing I just told myself is if you are very certain something will work out well, you will put your heart into it. So it depends on how sure you are. If you are very sure, oh, if I do this thing, this is the result I will get. It will take a lot for people to convince you to do something else. And one thing I tell people is no matter what you are doing, there are always successful people in it, and there are people that are not successful in it. So it depends on how you want to see it. So I just make sure to focus on the positive, and I had a lot of people doing great things around me, so I was inspired daily because they were like my motivation, and I knew that oh, this thing is possible, this thing is possible. Then I can say one thing that might make one feel if one is doing the right thing is maybe I think from what I've noticed is if you it depends on the intention you come in with. I know some people come in with a motive, with an intention, and when they join, they say that oh, this thing is different, or maybe they believe it's something they can just learn fast, 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 and when they join, they say that oh wow, this thing is very, very difficult. So so the question it depends on what angle is coming from. But what I'll just say is if 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 you feel oh I don't, am I wasting my time? It's just something like that. You first need to ask yourself, oh, why do I feel this way? If it's because of the difficulty, then you have to you have to be intentional on how you grow more in it, how you focus more on learning and learning it. And if it's from the point of, oh, maybe you are not really getting the results you want, maybe in terms of jobs and all of that, I think is like one example I like to use is just imagine it as a butterfly. If you want to catch a butterfly, you don't chase it. If you chase it, you won't catch it. What you do is you attract it. So you find a way to attract what you want. That way, when you want to attract, you know, oh, some of the things you have to do to position yourself to make people believe in you, all of those things, to make people see the value instead of chasing it, forcing it. But you when you attract it, like oh, when people see you maybe online or LinkedIn or Twitter and all of those things, and they can see that oh yeah, this person is really great at what it does, they will find it easy. It will be easier to get the results. So yeah, I believe that answers the question.
All right, thanks so much. I believe the answer was I believe the answer goes went straight directly to the question you asked Obilova. So we are coming to the end of the webinar now, and I just have two more questions. And if you have any other question, is you can either drop it in the chat box, or you just use the emoji to signify that you want to ask a question. So the last two questions to ask, I want to join them together because we have like 10 minutes more on this call. Now, Mr. Ayomide Onifade. So you said you got your job through LinkedIn, and is there like a maybe like a document or a file or an ebook that you can, because many of us, we are trying to get to that level where we, everybody's trying to attain the stability level, the survival level where you can earn money for your family. And it's one thing for you to have a skill. It's one thing for you not to have a skill and cannot make money. It's another thing for you to have a skill and cannot get a job that can help you, live the kind of life that you want. Do you understand? Is there any ebook or any means or any maybe like anything that you know, maybe like a document that you can, that you can share with us, that we can share with our community? I would appreciate if you can just get that. If you can help us out with that, that's one. The second thing is, if you had to start all over again with no prior knowledge, what step-by-step plan would you follow to become a software developer in 2025?
Yeah, okay. So for the first question, in terms of maybe if there's a document on, oh, maybe how to get a job, things like that, I would say, okay, I don't really have one, but what I would just say, because I believe is like something is like a general knowledge is, of course, when you want to apply for a job, your resume, your CV, cover letter, just all of those things. And one thing I would say is you have to tailor because if we are applying for, let's say you're applying for different roles, for example, you can't submit the same resume or CV in most cases. You have to tailor it to that particular job. And like I said earlier, too, now to be honest, the barrier is very, very high. And one thing for sure is even companies that are hiring, they have to trust you to hire you. So if you notice now on LinkedIn, when you apply or when you want to apply for some roles, even if they post a job an hour ago, before you click on it, you see over 100 applications. So what's happening? A lot of people just have it at the back of your mind that, okay, what I want, there are millions of people pursuing the same thing. So how can I be different? How can I stand out? So one thing I see a lot of people do is they they start posting on LinkedIn, on Twitter, just to get this visibility. And that comes with a lot of benefit, to be honest, because with that, people can start reaching out to you. Like um, hiring managers can start reaching out to you through that because once you start doing that, there's this level of trust this gives these people because there are just a lot of people that want what you want. So you just have to come with the mentality of how can I be different? Like I said, how can I attract these people? What can I do differently from all these that are happening? So you have to sell yourself. You have to say, oh, maybe if you'll be posting or reaching out to people, sending cold emails and all of that. Just position yourself in a way that you attract all of these people. And one other thing that I would say is you start from enough. I know a lot of people, maybe when they want to apply for jobs and all, when they see some job roles, the descriptions and all of that, they're not like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this, I don't have that. You can see a job role that asks for maybe a lot of programming languages, and maybe what you don't have there is one or two, or you feel you don't have enough experience. I will say you should still apply for it if you need a job. Just apply for all of these things. What's the worst that can happen? If you get to the interview stage and you don't get in, you have learned more about interview process. If you don't get in, you will think and say, oh, what can I do better? So you just keep applying. So you don't have to limit yourself to just see a job that really suits what you have currently. You start from enough any level you are now. Trust me, there's somebody out there with a lesser value and the person is working. So you just have to keep applying. Just start with whatever you want. You don't let anybody online distract you because you can come online and see people, oh, I built this, I built that. Don't let all of those things get into your head. Those people too are trying to sell themselves to IM manager. So you too, it should not be a distraction to you, instead the motivation and for you to know how to do all of those things. So just start from enough then. The method changes with time, like the barrier, like I said. So you just have to keep checking online. What are these people doing that I'm not doing? Then when you are just so passionate about attracting, you start thinking from within that, oh, what can I do differently to attract these people? And I believe that will help a lot. Then for the second question, if you are going to start your journey in tech in 2025, okay, yeah, I will say you first need to know why you want to do this. You want to know, you first need to ask yourself, okay, why do I want to do this? Because if you are doing something with just the intention of, oh, people said it's this, people said it's that, when you get in there and you start facing challenges, that will not be enough to keep you in it. But if you go with because you have the passion for it, because you really want to do it, when you start, even when you face challenges, you remember why you started and you keep going. Me too, earlier, I think it was because of what I wanted that kept me going, because it was what I wanted, not because somebody told me this, somebody told me that. Somebody can tell you, but still think about it. Do I really want this? Because it's a lifelong decision. Then that was one. So if I'm going to, of course, I'll start with that mentality. Then when I decide on what to do, I will start with whatever I have. I don't have to have the best laptop. I don't have to have the best setup and all of those things. I start with what I have. I start with enough. If it's you see online, you see a lot of OGs in the industry saying, oh, they started with their phone, all of those things. I can remember me too also. The first the first code that I wrote was on my phone because when I started the bootcamp, I had not got the laptop then. So the first code that I wrote to was on my phone. So that was number two. You start with enough. I came up with a writing. Yes, a writing I came up with 8 times. You start with enough. Maybe I'll share it in the chat if you can go over it, just to motivate you to start from enough, to start with whatever you have. So then after all of those things are just your personal self. Then when you are sure and all of those things, you just have to check online. Once you know the path you are going, what are the current tools used in this industry, and you can, if maybe if you have somebody you can talk to, oh, where is this tool, where is this industry, where is this path leading to, so you can learn in advance. You will not want to learn something now, and when you are done learning, maybe in the next 1 year, 1 year or 2 years, you discover that people are no longer using something like that. So you want to learn something, a language that people will use for a long time, that people will use for a long time, then just stay grounded. The basics are not enough. Everybody, a lot of people are contending for what you want. So you just need to be cracked. You need to just make sure you are part of the top percent. Yeah. So I'll say if I will, those are the things I will have in mind, and I'll pursue it with that mindset, with that vision, with that mentality, and not just for money because when you don't get the money, you start thinking, oh, you start thinking if you should continue or not. But the thing is, like I said earlier, money, money will always be there. So it just depends on how you bring yourself, the mentality, how long you can wait passive there to get the results you really want.
Thank you. It was really an amazing moment this evening. Honestly, I didn't mean we have. I'm trying to extend the time, but I don't know what is wrong with my maybe like Gmail or my internet. I'm trying to see if you can subscribe for so that we can have like a longer time and the likes. In fact, our meeting will end in 1 minute. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Ayomide, thanks so much for your time. Thanks so for the word of knowledge. The meeting is recorded. We are going to have it shared. It's going to be shared on the group chat, and we are going to have like an excerpt from this meeting is going to be posted on our Instagram accounts and LinkedIn at future purpose. So I want us also to follow up. Yeah, we are starting our boot camp next week. The information will be shared starting from tomorrow, and it's going to be the application is going to open for like 6 days. So if you have anyone that's interested in learning product design, UI, UX, let them to sign up. We are going to screen them. If they qualify, we are going to be bring them up all for free. 8 weeks is going to be an exciting and amazing time. So thank you guys for joining us. We see you again the next moment. We might bring Mr. Ayomide next time. Maybe I don't know. Maybe next month come and share with us how he started, applying for the jobs and how he went about the, sculpting his CV to get this job that's giving